What's up? What's up? This your boy Big Demi, aka Demi Vocals. Yeah, I'm here today, man, to explain just a small fraction of why Black Americans, aka FBA, delineated ourselves from pan-africanism, Africa, that whole thing of saying Africa. Why? And a lot of my African brothers and African sisters and my Caribbean brothers and Caribbean sisters have to understand that Black Americans don't have a gripe against any of you. Now, you may see the Pan-African wars that's going on right now and all that. Pan-Africanism, that wasn't even the term we used 30 years ago. There was no such thing of Pan-Africanism. We've been saying FBA, Foundational Black American, over 100 years. We just put a term to the saying. We've been saying, based on a song, my guy, God bless his soul, Rance Allen, you've been lying on the truth. And during that gospel song, he was saying, when Columbus got off the ship, a black man welcomed his hand. Don't you know you've been lying against the truth? You got to listen to that song. That was over almost 50 years ago when that song was written. I mean, this go on. Even my groups, my grandfather, great grandmother. I mean, this not new, but it's new to a lot of Africans because y'all wasn't coming over to America then. This is the things that we've been saying. And a lot of you just got a whiff of it that, oh, you're not African now? When the term now come into play? We've been saying we are not Africans. And by the way, I love Africans. I love the culture. I love the culture. I love it. And I refuse to let anyone say that African culture is not beautiful. Oh my God, I have, if not the beautifulest cultures in the world. Very beautiful. Very, very rich in traditions, very texture of it. You know, I don't know anybody or any culture that has that texture of rhythm, dance. And Africa is made up of 54 countries, but it's rich in culture. Every last one. Every last one. Now, is a lot of it, 60% of it is paganistic to us. I'm Christian, right? So yes, it's paganistic to us, but that's each his own. That's your culture. And I have beautiful culture. But you don't see a black man, Black Americans, walking into Africa or Nigeria. Let's be specific because not all Africans think this way. Because in Africa, y'all don't call yourselves Africans. Y'all call yourselves by your country. Some call yourselves Nigerians. Some call yourselves by your tribes. But only when you come to America, y'all use the term Africa. So this is why we generalize all of you, because everybody that come out of Africa don't say, oh, I'm Nigerian African or I'm Ethiopian African. No. Y'all say I'm African. And y'all represent the continent as a whole. That's why I'm addressing y'all as a whole. But you don't see us walking into your house claiming your culture, telling you this and that, change this, change that, change your name to this. That's disrespectful to walk in my house. America, I am an American. I am Black American. I am foundational Black American. Foundational Black American. I am FBA. I am American. So don't walk in my house trying to change my lineage. And this is the sad part. It's to try to even belittle and disrespect my culture. We love African culture. At one time, here too, we used to call ourselves Africans before we say African American. We used to say, I'm African and proud of it. We used to. And this is during the time when Reverend Jesse Jackson changed the term of being black was to African American. We was coloreds, we was Negro, black, Afro. And now when you pay attention, the terms we used to use, we hear other African countries using the term. Afro, Negro, black. And I have a problem with when people cosplay black Americans, because it's popular to be called black. Before, it was unpopular to call yourselves black. It was unpopular. Y'all would say real quick, I'm not black. Me no black. I'm African, Nigerian. South Africa. These are the terms y'all used. But when y'all started watching Black American on TV, when y'all upgrade y'all technology, thanks to French, y'all start watching TV. Y'all heard about Black Americans, but y'all knew nothing about Black Americans. What exposed y'all to Black Americans was the radio and the TV. Y'all heard about America, y'all heard rumors about us, but y'all never seen this. So when y'all became more westernized, y'all became more observant to Black Americans. Y'all was so fascinated to our lifestyle. Y'all was so fascinated by our music. Y'all was so fascinated by our culture. Y'all was so fascinated by the way we dress, our style, our swag. You get me? Y'all see the drip? We been dripped out. And y'all wanted that. And to the point, your admiration turned into jealousy. Your admiration turned into envy. Now, I do have some understanding about that, because when you live impoverished and you see black folks other than Africa on the same measure of white folks, see the white folks over there, y'all saw, it was easy for them to look down on y'all because y'all had nothing. But when y'all seen Black Americans living better than white folks here in America, as an American, that gave y'all ambition, but also produced jealousy and hate. Because, listen, man, I'm geeked out. Black Americans, we geeked out. I don't care about our shortcomings. We geeked out. This is why Black Americans don't need to go to Africa. We don't need to go there. And we've been going to Africa. We know how y'all live. We know that the average African person only make $25 a month. A lawyer in Africa, my homeboy in Africa, he's an attorney. He will gross maybe $300 to $400 to $500 a month, and he's an attorney. Now that's a good job in Africa. That is a good job, but because of the state of the economy, they can't pay as a good job because there's no jobs really in Africa. It's impoverished, and it's still like that to this day. But I'm not knocking that because I know that the structure in Africa is ran by corrupt politicians. Y'all politicians, y'all president, y'all government is demonically corrupt. But y'all don't take accountability. So therefore, what y'all do, rather stay and fight for your liberty, for your freedom, you run to America. And when you get to America, you are coerced by the propaganda is to stay away from black Americans. They gangsters. They commit crime. When you come from a crime, poverty-stricken country, you come from nothing and get to America to be something. Y'all listen to the propaganda. But Lord and behold, when you come here, you see something different than what you see on TV. You see something different than what you see on the news. That's propaganda. Black Americans, out of all blacks over the entire world, black Americans have the highest graduates in the world. The highest. The highest. On a map of scale, by us being the minority of the white people, we have more graduates than them. Did you know that? By ratio. Them little young boys you see on TV, they paint as thugs and criminals. Them young boys got degrees. Them young boys got high school diplomas. Them young boys graduated on top of the game. When you see them young boys dressed down with drip, they don't tell you, the young boys is entrepreneurs. They got jackets, they got clothing lines, they got businesses and stuff like that. So don't let the propaganda, man, deceive you. And by the way, I love Africans. I salute to Africans. But why we pulled away? First of all, we have our own identity. I'm not African. And I would never will be. It's impossible for me to be African. Transatlantic slave, that's all bullcrap. Only less than 40,000 slaves came here to America. But if you Google it, say 300,000 slaves only came here to America. No, it's way less than that if you look at the census that was taken then. You get what I'm saying? Because why? Why is that? Because the Africans that was already coming 500, 600, 700 years ago before the Europeans settled here was already doing business with foundational black people. This is why you find the Olmec heads in South America that you will find in West Africa. They was already doing business. Now, every black person, you know, ancestry came off a slave ship. No. Now, was we thrown in the pot of slavery? Yes. Yes. As indigenous people of America, yes. And we were slaughtered by the millions. Absolutely. And our history was taken away, whitewashed. Same thing that happened to Africans happened to us. So this is not a racial war. This is let us be us and you be you. Y'all can't scream we on the same team. But come to America, you disconnect yourselves. We see the hypocrisy now. So when we scream FBA, it is not a form of disrespect. It's a form of letting the world and Africans know that we're not the same. When God created the Egyptians, he also created the Ethiopians. They are two different people, even though they're black. You cannot label the Asian community all the same. You have Japanese and you have Chinese. You have Philippines. You have Laos. You have Vietnamese. They are totally different, even though they are part of the Asian community, as we put them in a pot. And this is how you generalize a nation or a race. They're not the same people. You can't go to China and tell them you are a Japanese man. They're gonna chop your head off. Hypothetically, we know they won't, but you would get cursed out. They are not the same. Different dialect. Even features is different. Just like the Ethiopians and the Somalians, they look totally different. But we're not even going by stereotype. Ethnicity is different. Culture is different. Every folk is not kinfolk. Just because I have a brown skin, you can't put me in a pot with brown people. We are totally different. When God gave a man brown skin, he didn't only have Africans in mind. You're not God. God didn't only give you brown skin. You go to India, you have people in India dark as African people. So why we ain't calling them black? You go to certain parts of China, when you have Chinese, dark as me. Why you not calling them black? Oh, I'm sorry. Why you not calling them Africans? But when it comes to black Americans, there's something about you want to grab hold of us. There's something about us that you want. And you know you want it. You know you want it. When I learned something that there's a thin line between motivation, inspiration, versus jealousy. There's a thin line because a person can be admired by you so much. They can be admired by you so much to the point it translate over to jealousy. That's why my father taught me, always be careful when people say, oh, I look up to you so much, or you inspire me so much, because it's a thin line. Because when you inspired by somebody so much, you begin to try to be that person. Act like that person. Notice anybody that's inspired by somebody, they try to be. And then when it's not enough to say, you know what? Okay, I'm singing like him, dancing like him, but I'm not him. Then it turns to jealousy. Then it's called destiny swap. You got the person you try to be like, you start telling him, you got your style for me. Because once you master his style, once you sing and dance like him, now you got ammunition to say, that was mine. I originated that. And it's the same way with Africans and black Americans. It's the same way. It's the same way when it comes to Africans that admire black American culture, love our culture. from our food to our drip, our swag, the way we live. Y'all saying we got that from y'all. Now y'all claiming hip hop when the word hip hop is not even used in your dialect. It's not your dialect. You don't even know what hip hop means. Black Americans and Africans, we have totally different rhythmic. Matter of fact, rapping, the word rap, that word rap started way back in the 1920s. It started with jazz. Rap comes from jazz because jazz singers, they either sing or they rap their lyrics. Prime example. Doom 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 doom. Now this rap part. Doom 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 doom. Come here, baby. Did the beat, the beat, the beat, the beat, the beat, the beat, the beat. Boo 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 doo doo. But the boo da boo the boo doo boo. Boo. But the boo the ba the boo the ba the beat the beat the beat doo boo. Do you see? And that where rap come from. Rap come from jazz. Jazz come from the blues. And the blues come from gospel. You see, you don't know my history. You don't know our music dialect. It's not even in your dialect. First of all, let's go back. I got one for you. When Koreans, Russians from all over the world, when they want to learn hip hop, they would travel hundreds and thousands of miles to America. And they will come to black universities to learn hip hop, and they will take it back to their country. That's where K-pop come from. It's videos of Koreans coming to America to learn hip hop. The whole world know we're the Mecca of R&B, the Mecca of hip hop. All the genres of music come from Black America when it comes to our music. R&B, rock, jazz, blues, rock and roll. And rock and roll even have different spectrums of rock, because you have acid rock, classic rock, metal, hardcore. I mean, like, I can go on. Nobody, when it comes to our music, nobody goes to Africa. Nobody listen. Nobody listen to African hip hop. First of all, y'all tongue heavy. Y'all can't even pronounce words correct. Y'all sound stupid trying to rap. Y'all sound crazy. No disrespect, but when you use my talent, when you use my music is sung and said in a way that I formulated it. That's why we the gatekeepers and we say what's hot and what's not hot. And that's a fact. That's the honest to God truth. You don't see me going to Africa. Now y'all have a lot of drums and bass kind of music, but it's really high-pitched drums. And your bass sound is different from our bass sound. But it's a certain rhythmic to your culture music, and it's very identical. You can identify it very well. You can say, oh, that sound like African drums. And nobody take that away from y'all. Nobody. African have a unique sound to them. Black Americans has a unique sound to us. We have our own dialect. We have our own language. We created Ebonics. This is why the whole world, Ebonics is now is in a encyclopedia, because now the whole world is using Ebonics. So they have to initiate it. Because at one time they used to say that's the Nigger talk. That's the N-word talk. I don't like that. I don't speak like that in my house. This is what a lot of white people was so mad that their children start talking like they black Americans. They start using the term my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it popping. What's juicing? Drip. Know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You dig what I'm saying? Let's keep it rolling, man. What's up, man? What's the word? What's popping? What's crunking, man? Yo, I like your drip, man. That joint swagged out. You know what I'm saying? Yo, who that joint right there? That referring to a female. Now y'all talking like that. We used to say, what's the get up? Which means, what's the word? What's the news? Now y'all want to talk like that. That's not your dialect. You've been watching a lot of hip hop too long, man. All I'm saying, pay homage. Stop hijacking my culture. My culture is free. Come on, join it. But the FBAs, the Black Americans, that's why we delineate ourselves from y'all, because now it's time to gatekeep who we are. You can't walk into Russia without a passport. Same thing here. When it comes to black culture, you cannot come into my culture without a passport. It's given. You can't take this, baby. That's all I'm saying. And it shouldn't be a problem for us as black Americans to gatekeep who we are, our culture, identity, because this is a new thing now. Y'all talking about black Americans got no culture. This is culture, baby. This is culture. Read the name of my shirt, Tupac. That's culture, baby. That's the world. This man changed the world. That's where y'all want to be. You got gangs out there in Somalia, Liberia, calling themselves Tupac. Gangs that was in Nigeria, Nigeria calling themselves Biggie. The United States. This culture, this drip. This is culture. Tupac stood for his people, black Americans. The music, the sound, the slang, the look, the drip. That's culture, man. And don't think that I'm hiding behind the shades. First of all, never that. I can show my beautiful face. I'm a handsome dude. But it's culture. And you have to understand that, man. Word. Straight up. That's culture. We made this. We created this style. Companies, they know the black dollar is strong, so white people wasn't buying this stuff. White people didn't have the drip, but they knew when black people wear their product, oh, we got to cater to them. They knew that before the urban culture was looked upon as a bad thing. In the coming up of the pop culture, the hip hop culture, all that stuff. This is when the world began to see the urban culture, because at one time you used to see black men in suits and ties, which is good. Even yet and still, we created that drip. We created that swag. But when time changed, young people wasn't dressing like that no more. We talking about black Americans. Every slang, every style we come up with, it always translates to other countries. And this is not just to Africa. This to the Caribbean. This is all over the world. Just Google how everybody trying to, that's even in Europe, the Brits. Just look at them. They want this drip. They want to be like us, man. The whole world know nobody influence is like black Americans, period. I know I'm geeked out. I know I'm geeked out. Straight up.